Thank you.
Okay, recording has started. We're good to go.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Let's begin. So good afternoon. We are so excited and grateful to be with you all today for this Thriving Thursday. My name is Crystal Farah. I'm an MSW intern at the Susan Dork Peck School of Social Work, class of 2022.
And I'm Angela DeBlasi, the program manager of Center for Work and Family Life at the Health Science Campus. And today, Suzanne Nguyen will be helping us with the slides. So thank you, Suzanne, and thank you, Crystal.
Yes, thank you, Angela and Suzanne. So today we'll be exploring winter renewal, specifically recharging our energy. So let's dive into the next slide. So the purpose of this Thriving Thursday series is to focus on really identifying and understanding the different activities and situations that drain our energy and those that provide us with that energy boost. Next slide, please. So winter renewal. The winter season is a pivotal time for us to focus on our wellness. We all know that winter can sometimes be seen as this environment of hibernation, moving physically inward, and that can be very impactful on our mental health. It's important to keep in mind that there is a time change. The weather is changing, though that has been pretty minimal as of lately, and holiday demands all influence our well-being and mental health. It's really helpful to remember that we don't necessarily have to spend winter season hibernating inside, even though I know that can feel so necessary at times. However, we can instead focus on being mentally nourished and energized. And if you have a winter recess or you're taking time off the season, it's a great time to plan for the new year. Also a great time to renew our energy. Next slide, please. So we want to pose this question to all of you. I invite you all to either enter your thoughts into the chat or to just reflect on this. How can we use winter as a time to experience both renewal and rest?
Okay, we have in the chat schedule in some relaxation days during winter break and catching up with friends and family, taking time to meditate and to do more self-care, taking the time to reevaluate priorities and reset for the new year. Great. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Those are such relatable responses. Next slide, please. And in doing so, it's also helpful to visually think of our energy as our personal batteries. And this involves recognizing when our batteries are fully charged and our energy is renewed versus the latter, when our batteries are running low and our energy, and we tend to experience stress, fatigue, exhaustion. Houseline focuses on work-life balance, and they reported that 31% of individuals, they do feel stressed out during the workday. I know so many of us can relate to this reality, and that's why it's important to consider the maintenance needed for a healthy battery and what that requires. It requires charging our battery, something that we definitely will touch on today. Next slide, please. So again, we invite you all to respond in the chat or to just reflect on this question. What do you experience when your energy is low?
Okay, so we have eating too much. Relatable.
Yes, very relatable.
Moving slower, tired, and grumpy.
Tired, yes.
Emotions are all over the place. Another one for grumpy.
That's definitely grumpy. Great, these are great responses and very relatable, I may say. And on that note, moving on to our next slide, we want to be mindful of restoring our energy, and that can consist in different areas of our life. For our physical energy, this involves recognizing and being very in tune to our bodies, being self-aware of what we're feeling and what we're experiencing at the same time. Also noticing our physical symptoms, What changes for us physically? What are we experiencing? Do we notice that we have muscle aches, headaches, tensions in our joints, elevated blood pressure, increased heart rate? Noticing these changes in our bodies allows us to not only address our energy, but to have a sense of when it's coming on, what triggers these responses in our bodies. Next slide, please. Another area of our life where our energy is so critical is our mental energy. And this really deals with identifying points of wellness for ourselves. It's also about recognizing if we're struggling to focus, if we're struggling with our decision making, and are we being productive? Next slide, please. So with our spiritual energy, it's important to remember that spirituality and spiritual energy differs for all of us. It looks different for everyone. Some of us may have a relationship with a higher power. For some, it's the universe or feeling connected to a higher frequency, and that can be nature as well. We can recharge our energy spiritually by attending a service, whether it's at church, temple, any kind of place of worship, or for some, our spiritual settings can be nature. Being outdoors, going on hikes, going to the beach. Spirituality is so different for everyone. Next slide, please. And an important aspect of spirituality also includes our values. Recognizing our core values is a part of being spiritually energized. Are we demonstrating our core values to those around us every day, to our loved ones, to our colleagues, to our peers? Some of these values can include our families, freedom, security, connection, diversity, our personal development, and success. When we identify our values, we're able to tap into our spiritual energy. Next slide, please. And I'll be handing it over to Angela now, who will discuss emotional energy.
Thank you, Crystal. Crystal did a great job of explaining our mental, spiritual, and physical energy and what it looks like when it's low. And I'm going to go in a little bit deeper dive into emotional energy. So when our symptoms of emotional energy, when they're low, what happens is when we experience stress, loss, or trauma, we go into a fight or flight response for a long period of time, and especially if we have cumulative stress. And some of the symptoms that can play out with our energy are feeling irritable, lashing out, isolating, being impatient, crying easily, becoming angry, aggressive. And what happens when we have cumulative stresses, people get into the survival mode and they even become disconnected from themselves. And as a result, disconnected from their loved ones, their family, their friends, their children, their coworkers. When we are not connected to ourselves or others, this creates more of an emotional vacuum and an emotional drain. And when we're not being authentic with our feelings, that can be an emotional drain too, because we mask our feelings and that takes a lot of energy. Next slide, please. So I'd like you to take a few minutes and reflect on what you experience when you are emotionally drained. You can write in the chat or you can just think about it.
So we're seeing responses, stress, anxiety, anger. Feeling depleted, not having a usual upbeat nature. Feelings of hopelessness. Stressed, tired, feeling responsible for everything.
Okay, thank you for sharing those, what you experienced when you're drained. And it's common. I think many of us, of what you shared, many of us experience those feelings as well. So when we experience low energy and stress for long periods of time, it can become cumulative and we can become burned out, such as the different phases of the pandemic that we have all gone through the last few years. For example, we went through a lockdown. We went through employees all working 5 days a week in person to many employees going home and working 5 days remotely. Some employees who are essential workers needed to work, but that was stressful in a different way. And now with the pandemic changing and things getting better, many people in the last several months have come back to work. And that's required a different change, different transition, and different resilience, with people either working 5 days a week at work or a hybrid schedule. They're getting used to that again and what that means. And also the changes many parents went through the last couple of years with kids being home and kids doing distant learning at home and what that entailed for the whole family. And then kids being back at school before the vaccines were ready for kids. And now kids are being able to be vaccinated. And now we're learning about some new variants. So this really has taken a toll on all of us, the pandemic and the changes and the phases of it and how it's evolving. But in addition, each and every person is going through their own changes. Maybe in their department, there's changes at work. Maybe at home, they're going through changes. So the combination of all the changes happening simultaneously can take a toll on people. So it's important to realize that change and burnout can create a state of chronic stress, which leads to exhaustion, detachment, and feelings of being ineffective. Physical signs of burnout may include chronic fatigue, insomnia, signs of being detached may be present, being more pessimistic than usual, more cynical, self-isolating. Sufferers of burnout ultimately experience a lack of productivity and poor job performance. Next slide, please.
So as Angela mentioned, low energy and burnout, it differs for everyone. We all have our own individual, unique responses to when we're feeling like our energy is running on low and when we're hitting burnout. And there's different ways to identify our energy sources. It's important to consider, how does burnout impact our daily lives? Do we notice changes when our energy is low? Do those around us, our loved ones, our colleagues, our peers, do they recognize when our energy is low? Next slide, please.
Great. Crystal posed some really great questions for us to think about and take with us and think about maybe right now or maybe in the next few weeks about our energy and identifying the signs and symptoms of our energy and what it means. And one of you had written in the chat that you'd like to learn some tools today to manage your energy. And that's what we're going to do. The next segment will be discussing strategies to increase your energy and to conserve your energy. Some of the strategies we're going to be talking about is to become more self-aware of your triggers and your energy levels, so then you can self-regulate. We're going to talk about reframing negative thoughts into positive thoughts. We're going to talk about getting in touch again, what brings you joy. We're going to talk about the importance and the research related to gratitude list and making gratitude lists. We'll discuss mindfulness and self-compassion, and we're going to do a heart map, evidence-based breathing exercise. Next slide, please. Emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman wrote a book several years ago, Working with Emotional Intelligence. In the book, he describes that it is important to be self-aware so that you may self-regulate your emotions. Next slide, please. It's important for us to be self-aware and recognize our own emotions on ourselves, what it does to our body, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, and how it may impact others in our lives. It's important to understand our own strengths and limits so we can reach out to others for help and support as needed. Self-confidence is a sense of our own self-worth and knowing our own capabilities. However, when we get stressed and our energy is low over periods of time, that can get in the way of us being self-aware and being able to recognize our triggers, and it can get the best of us. and it can shake our confidence. So if we're in a situation where we're second guessing ourselves and we're not feeling as confident, that may be a time for us to pause and take a step back, maybe get support from our center, reach out to friends. So then once you're more self-aware, you can self-regulate. Next slide, please. So when we talk about self-regulation, that's the ability to manage your emotions, impulses, and your own personal internal resources. It's keeping disruptive emotions and impulses in check. It's maintaining standards of your honesty and integrity. It's taking responsibility for your personal performance and your personal life, but also your work performance at work. And when we can self-regulate, we're able to adapt to all these changes we're going through, right? We're going through so many changes, and every day there's new information coming out. And so when we're not able to self-regulate, those things can throw us off. And so we need to really be aware. And being able to self-regulate also makes us feel comfortable to approach situations and think outside the box and be more creative. Next slide, please. So next we're going to talk about positive thoughts. That's another strategy you hear often, right? That the way we think is so important. So the research shows that it's so important, much more important than we even realize is the way we think. The law of attraction says like attracts like. So when you think a thought, you are attracting like thoughts to you. We fuel our body energy by being compassionate with ourselves. Self-acceptance is a big predictor of how happy and satisfied we'll be in our lives. And it's really important to realize how we begin our day, having a few moments of self-reflection can make or break our day. Our attitude and our actions have a strong effect on our whole day. Begin with a smile, a calmness of mind, a heart filled with gratitude, and a positive mindset. It's going to be a wonderful day. Now, it's really important to also keep in mind there's going to be glitches throughout the day. If we just have a plan for the day and then we have certain glitches that come up, it's going to throw us off. So in your morning mindfulness and meditation and reflection, it's important to say, okay, this is my plan for the day, but I'm going to have self-compassion and self-acceptance that there's going to be glitches. There's going to be interruptions. There's going to be things thrown that I didn't expect, and that's okay. I'm going to try to have the flexibility and the resilience and the strength to deal with those things. Next slide, please. So when we think positive, we believe that good things will happen, and they will. You attract the energy that you give off. You spread good vibes, think positive, enjoy life. So if you imagine it, feel it, you can receive it. Next slide. Okay, the next slide is to focus on what you can control. Has an EAP counselor in the workplace for over 30 years. What I've come to realize is oftentimes employees will come in and focus on things they can't control. For example, all the things outside their control are all the changes, right? The changes in the workforce, the changes in the department, issues they may have with their supervisors or in their personal life, changes at home. They focus a lot on what they can't control. And I always encourage my clients to make a list of focusing on things they can control and can influence, and then another list of what they can't control. And to try not to focus on what they can't control and focus on what they can. And usually when they make the list, what they can control is the list is usually longer. So they can visually see that there's a lot more they can control. The only things we can control in life are thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. We can't control others, right? If we can manage those, we can achieve our goals and gain success in life. Next slide, please. When we talk about another strategy, it's getting in touch what brings us joy. So during the pandemic, many of us found new simple pleasures that brought us joy in life, right? That we didn't think of before. So many people started cooking, trying new recipes. Many people started gardening, crocheting, sewing, or even playing board games with their children. Because of the lockdown, it forced them to enjoy the simple pleasures in life. Well, now that things have gotten busy again, many people are back in the workplace, many kids are back in school. It's playing tennis with family too. There we go. Um, yeah, it created a really special family time, the pandemic, and we want to keep that, right? We don't want to lose that. And so now that things are back and busy, people have lost contact with the things that bring them pleasure, the simple things. So now that we are going into a little bit maybe of downtime, hopefully, some people on the line may get a winter recess, which is nice. Some people may not get a winter recess right now, but take days off later. Whenever you're planning to take time off and enjoy some time with family, maybe get back to those simple pleasures. Or if there were things you were doing prior to the pandemic that you weren't able to do, but now with more people being vaccinated, you can do, such as going to sporting events, museums, concerts, maybe you can do those again. So try to get in touch with what brings you joy during this winter renewal and during the next several weeks. Next slide, please. Okay, so when we choose joy, we choose love, and we choose gratitude, our energy can vibrate higher. When we are able to come to a place of gratitude and really feel it in our sensations, this opens up a space to shift our perspective. It can be a very beautiful thing, and things look brighter for us. And for some people in their normal routine, it's harder to get in touch with what you're grateful for. But maybe if you take a walk in nature, and while you're taking the walk, you can think of things you're grateful for. But research shows that if every morning you can think of 3 things you're grateful for, and every night you can think of 3 things you're grateful for before you go to sleep, and have this as a practice, you will increase your sleep, you will increase your mood, it will help your immune system, your health, and just give you an overall positive outlook. So I'd like each of you right now, if you want to write a few things in the chat or make a mental note of what brings you gratitude.
We're getting some responses. Health, family, work, my dogs, nature, friends, and my dog. Friends, science, love, good health, having a home to live in, family, friends. Friends, family, health, job. And then for me, I just added family, basic needs, and warm from the sun. I'm missing that today.
Yes, Suzanne, yes.
Great. Well, and thank you for those of you who shared. And just a question, I don't know if I'll be able to see people's hands through this, or if maybe just to think about it. I know when I experience gratitude, how I feel. How many of you felt a little bit of lighter when you got in touch with what you're grateful for? Okay, some of you. And I think that happens when we're grateful and we get in touch, it just changes our whole energy. So it is an energy boost. And what I liked about what all of you shared, there's common themes that I think the pandemic brought to us to appreciate. It's our health, it's our family, it's our friends, it's our loved ones, job, coworkers. It's things maybe before we didn't appreciate as much. And I think we appreciate them more now. So thank you for sharing those. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so it's really important. Another strategy is to have mindfulness and meditations. And we all know that it's very hard during the day, especially for those of you who are on the line who all have work life and you're balancing so much, it's hard to take time really. It sounds good, but it's hard to find mindfulness during the day, right? And time to do meditation. But these are links that Suzanne will put in the chat. And they're like a 1-minute link, 5-minute links, 10-minute links that you can just click on and do, and it help guide you through a mindful meditation, maybe through projects at work, maybe through patients if you're working in the health setting. Just throughout your day, taking 1 minute or 5-minute, 10-minute to do these and practice. The more you practice, the more you'll be able to do them on your own. There's even a 30-minute one through Mindful USC. And as employees of USC, we all can download an app through Mindful USC with these great meditations. So I encourage all of you, if you haven't done that, to do that. And mindfulness is a practice really just to get us, again, out of our head, into our bodies, and not to have judgment about what's going on and what we're feeling. It just helps us connect with ourselves. And research shows the more we do that and connect with ourselves, we can connect with others and we can be more productive. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so now we're going to talk about heart math. And I would encourage all of you to do this exercise because it goes along with the theme of our talk today. And so let me go. Okay, before we go to this exercise, can we go to the next slide so I can explain it a little bit? Thank you, Suzanne. So heart math is an evidence-based breathing exercise. And people in the health field love it because it is evidence-based and it monitors your heart rate variability. So if people wanted, they could actually go online. There's a lot of information about this, and you could order and download an app. You could hook the app up to your finger or to your ear and to your iPhone or your computer, and you can see your heart rate variability. So when we're calm, it's very smooth, and when we're stressed, it's like this. But really what the whole concept is, it just gets you out of your head into your heart. Because when we're in our head, we're dwelling on the past or we're anticipating the future. And that can create a lot of anxiety. But when our answers are really in our heart. So let's go back to the past slide, Suzanne, the last slide. Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, so I want you guys to think of 3 things that happened this week. So this week would be last Thursday, which was Thanksgiving, until today. 3 things that were energy gains for you. And for some people, it could be that you saw family and it went well, and that could be an energy gain. Who maybe family you haven't seen in a while. For some of you, you finished a project and that felt really well. Some of you may have gotten back into exercise. Think of 3 things, make a mental note of 3 things that you did this last week that were energy gain for you. And you can put it in the chat if you want, or you can just reflect and make a mental note. Also, think of 3 things that depleted your energy. Maybe you're working on a project for work and it's not your favorite project. It doesn't bring you joy, but you have to do it. Or maybe something you had a disappointment on Thanksgiving and it wasn't as positive as you thought. Think of 3 things that may have depleted your energy this week. And if you're at a desk and you have paper and pencil, you can just write this down for yourself. This can be like a personal exercise of reflection if you'd like. Okay. Let's see. Oh, so, Suzanne, there's some comments.
I have here, time to relax a bit, spending time with family, time off the computer. Some other games, listening to my favorite music, cooking with my family, decorating for Christmas.
Okay, great. And thank you for those of you who shared your gains. We appreciate that. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the next slide. And so what heart math is, it gets you out of your head, and the head is more the math, the science, and it gets you into your head, your heart. And we're going to do an exercise and take a few moments to do a breathing exercise whereby we're going to have you imagine breathing in and out of your heart, even though we breathe in and out of our lungs. For the purposes of this exercise, it will be breathing in and out of our heart. And whenever you do this exercise, you can focus on whatever you need. So sometimes focusing on something you're grateful for and appreciate, that can help you. Sometimes we're hard on ourselves and we need self-compassion. Sometimes we want to focus on things that can increase our energy. For the purposes of today, I'd like you to focus on the 3 things that brought you an energy gain this week. The 3 very things that you either made a mental note or wrote down that brought up and were an energy boost. Okay? All right. So if you'd all participate in this for the next 5 minutes, that would be great. So put your hand on your heart. And for the purposes of today, I'm going to close my eyes, and you can close your eyes if you can. However, you can do this exercise with your eyes open as well. So have your hand on your heart and have your feet firmly on the ground as if you can feel the earth. And that can help you feel more grounded. And I always encourage people, touch your stomach, touch your head, and this just gets you out of your head into your body. So have your hand on your heart and focus on the area around your heart. And again, this is just to clear your head. And for the purposes of this exercise, we're going to imagine breathing in through our heart and out through our heart. And in through our heart and out through our heart. And you're clearing your head, allowing yourself just to focus on your heart and allowing yourself to imagine breathing in through your heart and breathing out through your heart. And you're going at your own pace. And you're going to scan your body, and wherever you feel tension right now, you're going to send a heartfelt energy to that area. And then you're going to breathe out and release the tension. So you're breathing in through your heart and out through your heart and in through your heart and out through your heart. And as you're doing this, you're feeling more relaxed. You're allowing the chair to hold you up if you're sitting instead of you holding yourself up. And you're just allowing yourself to relax. And with each breath, you're allowing your muscles to relax. So you're breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. And in through your heart and out through your heart. And with each breath, you're sending a heartfelt energy to where you feel any tension in your body, any stress, and you're releasing the tension and you're breathing it out. So you're breathing in, out, allowing yourself to imagine breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. Sending each time you breathe in a heartfelt energy and breathing out any tension. And as you're doing this, you're feeling more relaxed and more peaceful. Just allowing yourself to breathe in and breathe out at your own pace. Breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. And breathing in heartfelt energy to your body. And this is called neutral. And what that means, it's just to get you out of your head into your heart. It's just to make you feel more neutral. Clearing your head and putting you into more of a neutral state. And as you're doing this, you're thinking of the 3 things that you wrote or that you made a mental note of and reflected on that this week were energy gains for you. Whatever those 3 things are, and you're breathing them in, those thoughts of those memories of those things, the sensation, how you felt while you were doing those things, and you're breathing them into your body as if you can feel those good feelings viscerally. You're allowing yourself to savor those moments, those times, the last week that you felt grateful for, that you noticed increased your energy, and you're savoring them in your body. Okay, when you're ready, you can slowly take time and open your eyes very slowly. And I'm hoping that you were able to relax for a few moments and get in touch with the things that brought you good energy this week. Okay. And next, we're going to go to Crystal. Next slide, please. Oh, Crystal,
I was muted. Thank you, Angela. Today, we've gone over, we've discussed so many issues relating to our energy, relating to burnout, relating to feeling tired, feeling exhausted, ways that we can find points of energy boost. And all of these tools and tips have been really game changing to support us in renewing our energy. So we have 2 questions we want to present to the group. Feel free to respond in the chat or just take a mental note. Firstly, what does having a charged battery feel like for you? I see relaxing and refreshing. Yes, very accurate. Feeling optimistic. Yes, such a good point, Carla. Charged battery feels like I can live my purpose of love and service. That's beautiful, Laura. Feeling energized, happy, and excited. I love that, Julie. I love the energy. So secondly, another thought to reflect on, going into the new year, how do you imagine you would like your energy to be? If we can visualize ahead into 2022, how do you imagine your energy? Steady and solid with a few less highs and lows. Yes, I think that's very relatable, Laura. Renewed, confident, and ready to take on new challenges. Robin sounds ready. She sounds ready for the new year. Hopefully, lots of energy and positivity in the new year. Yes, positivity. I think we can all say that we're hoping for a very, very positive new year. Well, thank you so much for your responses. These are so relevant and they're so relatable to all of us today. Next slide, please.
Okay, so thank you, Crystal. That was a great summary and some really very profound questions to get us to think about as we're heading into the holidays and the new year. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our program as another strategy and resource to support all USC faculty, staff, and postdocs. And after I talk a little bit about the program, we'll have a few moments if you have any questions. So basically, our program is Work Well, Work and Family Life, USC Center for Work and Family Life, Work Well. And the concept of our program is empowering employee work-life wellness. And we provide, you can see we provide a lot of different services. And one of the services we provide is short-term counseling. So employees can come to us. We're free, we're confidential, we're convenient. Right now, we're doing Zoom calls. However, eventually we'll do some in person. But the nice thing about our staff and our team is that we understand the culture and climate of USC. So we understand all the different changes and transitions and initiatives at USC. So it really can help to speak to someone that understands your workplace. So we provide short-term counseling and it's confidential. And our records are very confidential. They're not part of USC or CAC or your medical record. We also provide consultations for leaders. So if supervisors or managers or directors, any leader who needs support and dealing with a difficult work situation can call us, and we can either do phone or Zoom and provide a consultation to support you in your role. Because during this time of change and transition, it can be really difficult. So we're here to support you. We have coaching, which is executive coaching for directors and above. And we help leaders be the best they can be. And it's very result oriented. And our coaches are credentialed through the International Coaching Federation. So it's a great benefit that our program and USC and the university provides. We also have a health and well-being program. And that's one of our newer programs this last year. And Julie and Suzanne, who are on the call today, are part of that. Julie is the manager of the program and Suzanne's the coordinator, and they've done some great things. And I'm sure you've seen it, and maybe many of you have attended it to help us through this pandemic. They did a Healthy Habits webinar, a series for several months on different topics and different resources that USC has and different speakers. It was very well attended and very well received. And they're always providing a lot of, just look on Employee Gateway for all the various programs that they provide. That's part of our center now. And Julie said, please contact her to be added to the mailing list. She put that in the chat with her email address. So thank you, Julie. Again, so many great programs. And it's so important now more than ever to have great health and well-being. And then we provide trainings in groups as needed, and we can tailor different trainings to different departments and what's needed. We provide a parent support group once a week. It's a drop-in group. It's through Zoom. It's been going on for, I guess, maybe over a year, and it's very well attended. And two of our clinicians facilitate that group, and one is female and one is male, and they give the perspective of a mom and a dad. It's nice to have both of them doing that. We provide critical incidents. So if there's any kind of incident in the workplace where an employee maybe dies suddenly or is sick, or any kind of incident unexpected with a patient, we can come in and debrief and support the team. So we have so many services. We encourage you to reach out to us and to get support. It's been a trying couple years, and you can tell by our discussion today in our presentation that it's really good if you can kind of nip things in the bud earlier than later. And just to talk to someone for a few sessions sometimes can help do that and learn some coping tools. So we also have a 24/7 number that you can call, and our licensed professionals are available to speak to you as needed. And our email address is on here as well. So now I'm going to open it up if anybody has any questions. Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat. But if anyone does, feel free to email us or call us. And, we can answer questions if you'd like privately, or if you want to know anything about the health and well-being program, you can email Julie, who provided her email. So we appreciate everybody for being here today. We hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season and a renewed winter season. And those of you who are taking a recess, a winter recess or any time, enjoy your family and really take care of yourself. It's so important. And Crystal, did you want to add anything?
I just wanted to thank everyone for attending. We're so grateful for your attendance, and we're so grateful that we can share this discussion with you. We can share tips with you, and it's so powerful to hear how you all are relating to these different prompts, how these thoughts are really bringing a lot to the surface for you. So thank you all. This is really valuable information to us.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.